Okay guys, so what I did today was I worked on that transmission and then I basically just cleaned the shop because we definitely needed it. So the table is basically clean. Roberto's tools are right here still. Yeah, Roberto's got to clean up his tools. So that's what I did today. The reason why there's a bunch of water on the floor is because I drained the compressor from all the water that was in it, and after I put the pick in it and like got all the little rust chips out, it just like blew water everywhere and got all over the floor, made a big mess and whatnot. But it'll dry up really quick here, and yeah. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go home, eat, or I'm going to go to like Chick-fil-A and grab a little bite to eat and then come back, work on the 180 for a little bit, drop out the drive shaft and some other like dumb little thing, and then I will go on to going home and then making the clean culture video, which I am dreading because it's a lot of work to make a car edit video, but it's okay, we'll get it done. And yeah, a little accident I think happened over there, police car, some other stuff, but whatever. We're gonna work on a 180 in a little while, but first let's go grab a bite to eat. So guys, what I am going to do is I'm going to work on something that you guys have been wanting me to work on for a little while. I've been pushing it off to the side because we've had so much work in the shop, and I've just haven't really wanted to work on it because I don't have all the parts. But today what we're going to do is we're going to work on the 180. We are going to put the short shifter in it, and we are going to possibly drop the drive shaft because if it keeps raining, I do not want to. But if it does stop raining, then I will drop the drive shaft because I don't want to push it with a welded diff in the rain. I just don't want to do that. That's a terrible idea. So we're going to put the short throw shifter in. Let's grab that box today. And I have to still go to Harvey's and figure out what I could, how I could get this intercooler piping done. But Bert, you want to jot Harvey's number down real quick? And then I'll just give him a call.
HutchesWelding.com or Google Hutches Welding.
Okay.
Yeah,
thanks, dude. So I'll do that, and then we'll be right back. Okay, guys, so step number one, take off your shift knob. I have mine kind of rigged up so that my shift boot stays up where it's supposed to be. Because if I, wow. If I didn't, did I just scratch this thing? No, we're good. We're good. Because if I didn't have this rigged up the way I do, then the shift boot would just fall right down and it'd look like there was a bunch of slop in the shift boot. So in 1 second, you will see how I have it rigged up on here. Let me put you guys down right here. Well, either way. So you remove your center console, you remove your shift knob, and then for me, I have this. It's basically a piece of tubing that I put over my shift linkage, and it holds the shift boot up. So next step we got to do is we got to get a 10mm socket, and we got to take off the rubber boot and all that kind of grommet stuff. And then we have to go underneath and start working from under there. So let's go ahead and do that. Better right now, we have a flashlight, socket, and we are ready to take this off. So what I'm gonna do is a little time lapse of me taking this thing off, and we'll be right back. So guys, we have the boot and everything off. I am actually going to clean all this up before I put it back in. This stuff looks really, really nasty. So I clean all that up. I'm probably gonna get the little vacuum out all this little junk up here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take off what it looks to be like the 12mm that hold the actual linkage to the transmission, the top of the transmission where the shifter goes. There is 6 of them. There's 3 on the left side and 3 on the right side. The two that are up in the front are going to be the very hardest. There are two all the way up here, like they're where my finger is up there and up there. And I'm just going to have to figure out how I can get those two out. But the four that are right here should be pretty simple. Get a swivel, use the longer extension, and bam, there we go. Those four should come right out. And then I believe I'm going to have to use a ratcheting wrench to get the other two out, and then this thing should just pull right out. So let's go ahead and get to that. So guys, turns out that we actually are going to be taking out the drive shaft because one, it's just going to make this just that much easier for me to do. So I already have the rear drive shaft bolts off. Right now I am currently working on taking out the U-joint bolts, and then the drive shaft will just come out. I can grab the one that I have over there, mock it up next to it, see how much longer it needs to be and whatnot. Hopefully it doesn't need to be any longer, and all they have to do is cut this end off and put the other end in, and then it'll be a one-piece drive shaft. Or I might just get lucky and it literally just might be the same size and I could just put the one-piece drive shaft in and call it a day. That'd be awesome. But we're going to take out this drive shaft, mock it up next to it, and the biggest thing that I'm thinking that might actually happen with this is that I think the drive shaft might sit lower, so we might have some exhaust work to do once again, because we already have some exhaust work to do down here on this end. We have to cut it here and here, squish these two together, make it so that it sits in this area right in between here more than it does just hitting the diff. And then should be good. Things collecting dust and some cobwebs, so I'm not too happy about that. Got to get this thing running on the road again. But yeah, I'll come back to you guys in a second when I have the drive shaft out and they're both sitting next to each other. Stay tuned. So guys, sadly, the drive shaft is not long enough. I have to actually get it lengthened. Shouldn't be that hard for them to do. I will check this yoke too, but I don't think this one will fit either. Now just looking at both of them, I think they're gonna have to take off this and put it onto there, and then put and then they'll just do me back both of those ends. But that just makes taking out the drive shaft that much easier. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to drop the 4 transmission housing bolts, and then I should be able to get my hand up there with like a little ratchet and undo those 2 other 12 millimeters, and then the exhaust should come, the shifter should come right out. So let's go ahead and finish up with this. So guys, the shifter is off. I had to actually lower the transmission, go from up here, use a swivel with the extension, loosen them, and then go underneath and finally take them off. But the shifter can come out now. I didn't know there was a gasket on this, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to clean it off as best as I can, and then put on the either red or gray RTV on the bottom of this so that it will hold all of the fluid inside and nothing will happen to it. So let's go ahead and jump back down from sitting up here on the lift and go through what I need to do and then get back to it. So yeah. Okay guys, so what we got going on here is this is the stock shifter. Very sloppy in there, moves around a lot, and this is the ISR one. I can move it forward and backwards, but forward and back, but it is very hard to move it side to side, even with it out of the car. So we're going to go inside the car now. I'm going to clean up the transmission, get all the stuff off of the top where I need to get this thing sealed. And then I will go ahead and get some red silicone out of our little box right here, put it on the bottom of that, and bolt her up. Should go in there nice and easy. And then it's just a matter of pushing it back outside and waiting on this drive shaft so that that can go on. And in between that, I need to go get those intercooler pipes done so that I can get that all situated. And yeah, so let's get to scraping off this old gasket off this transmission. So guys, the transmission is as clean as I could get it without dropping anything into there. There is some debris still left on the transmission, but I think it should be okay. Enough for the new short shifter to go on the car. So let's go ahead, get this thing on there, see how it feels, stop yammering, and just do it. Just send it. So let's go ahead and do this. So guys, the shifter is in. I cleaned up the bolts. I need to get the dust off the top of the new shifter. Put the boot in. I cleaned up the boot. The boot looks good now. The little metal ring I didn't really clean up that well. It's rusty, so the best thing I could do with it would be to paint it, but I'll do that another day when I actually take like the center console and everything out or something like that, take the dash off. Who knows? But let's get this thing back in here and see how it feels, because I definitely want to see how that goes. So guys, this thing is sick. It's all in. It doesn't lower the shift knob at all, but it definitely makes it a lot stiffer. Like before, I used to be able to just like push it very gently and whatnot and it'd go into gear, but now you actually have to like put it into gear, and it just is a lot firmer of a shifter for this car, since we're just gonna be slamming gears, and that's what we need for banging right on the dash. But sadly I can't put in a drive shaft tonight. I have to bring both drive shafts to the drive shaft place and have them make it work. So I had to do that tomorrow. I actually have to wake up and do that. So let's go ahead and do that. So guys, it's a couple days later. I think it's actually like the next week or whatnot, but that's besides the points. And the 180 is still sitting right there, still down. I still have yet to go to Harvey's and get the intercooler piping welded up, but that is all my fault. I am here past 5 o'clock, and Harvey stays at his shop until like 5, and then he goes home. He's got a normal schedule, unlike me. So that's what's going on with that. And like, I have to just go and finish this thing up. I'm going to put the stock drive shaft back in because I am actually going to just wait until I get a different transmission or something like that to buy another drive shaft. But that's it. And yeah, so I can't wait to drive this thing around, get the bumper back on it, get those intercooler piping in, relocate the battery, and do all that stuff. So that's what I'm going to do maybe sometime next week. I'm going to Connecticut later on this weekend. Stay tuned for those videos next week. And yeah, that's about it though, guys. If you guys like the video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, comment, share, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.